Hello! Are we live? I imagine that we're live.
Maybe.
Chat, are we live? I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Is everyone out there ready?
Yes. Are you guys ready? Chat is very quiet right now. I'm worried.
No.
All right, let's pretend that we're live and then we'll fix it in case we're not. Like that. What's the worst? That we're talking to nobody. The best case scenario, somebody's watching us right now. Yes, we're live.
Is that the best case? Yeah, okay.
Somebody
Hey,
just
look,
replied.
there's people there.
Yeah, there are people. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is our second weekly Stellaris stream. Today, we are here to talk about Stellaris 4.0 and the ongoing beta, about a new update that we're currently being working on, and maybe we have something to show you about it. Overall, Steven. So here I have Steven, game director for Stellaris.
Yeah.
How has the open beta gone so far?
It's been really good so far. We've gotten a lot of useful information, a lot of horrible bugs, a lot of terrific imbalances, things that we've been working on. I'm going to be showing you another hot build that just got off the build presses or whatever. So just like last week, this is a mostly untested build, but you're going to get to see what's going to be going live tomorrow-ish.
So this is the build that goes live tomorrow. And
I have patch notes for this one too.
Oh, you have patch notes. Are you ready, stream, for another ASMR patch notes by Stephen Moray, game director on Stellaris? So just to explain to people, like this build was literally pulled together how many hours ago?
Half an hour.
Half an hour ago. So literally, this is the latest iteration of 4.0 that we want to push live tomorrow.
3.993. It's not 4.0 yet.
3.993.
This is still the open beta, so it's not cool enough to be 4 yet because it's not done yet.
The one thing I want to say that I'm really glad we moved out from the 3.14 thing because it was getting a bit excessive. Remember on the digits after the 3.14.1.3, like was getting excessive. All right.
You don't know 100 digits by?
No.
No? Okay. Well, anyway. So today, things that we've added are we've completely redone the new player experience, basically. So your starting conditions are no longer as diabolical as they used to be.
Mm-hmm.
We have also included a little other thing like habitats that mostly work. So let's get in the game and see stuff.
So let's go in game.
So we have the United Nations of Earth here and the United Habitats of Earth. Let's start with the regular one because that way we'll be able to show off the new default starting conditions.
Void Strider, I'm reading it this way, is asking, do we have any news, assuming it's okay to share, on how certain civics like agrarian, masterful crafters, or mutagenic spa civics will work as they require either industrial districts or add slots?
A lot of those will be anything that used to be focused on industrial districts will likely be focused on industrial zones or the forge zones or the factory zones, but city zones in general.
Sorry, can I also reply, do devs read the chat? Yes, we try to our best. We read the chat. And can I also say...
He reads the chat because it's too far away from me.
Yeah.
And my eyes are terrible.
Yeah. Also, I want to say, this is the first time I see this build. You know what kind of day I had.
I haven't seen him all day, so he has no idea what I'm going to show today. This is as much of a surprise to him as it is to you.
But look at it, like now it starts looking like the stuff that we showed in the dev diaries.
Yeah, it's looking a lot more like the mock-up. We still have a couple of things like the resettlement decisions won't be here for long. That's why we didn't bother putting a thing behind them because those are supposed to be on some of the other tabs. Let's see, we've changed the spacing on a lot of this to make it a little bit better. You can get tooltips that actually tell you what things do. That's useful. It's like, what does my city district do? What does my government district do? Hey, look, that horrible pre-FTL zone is gone. And now we just start you with a generic urban zone. You still have some basic factories and basic offices and basic research labs. These are giving you your initial jobs. Our economy is full of lies up here because it won't update until the first month. So let's let a month pass and then see what happens. Okay, look. We didn't start in an economic death spiral right away. We'll get to that eventually. Let's see. We still have a number of zones in here, like before. Management. We don't quite have that one yet. Where with the pop growth, I suppose I shouldn't be assuming that everyone was here for last week's stream, but
I would assume that a streamer might just be tuning in and they maybe don't know exactly what they're looking at. So maybe give a short overview of, hey, this is the tab where this happens.
okay. So
The surface tab.
on the surface tab, this is basically your districts, your zones, and your buildings. Similar to what the game was like before, except now we've added these zones in the middle of it. The general concept is that the planet is what produces stuff now based on the jobs. Jobs are created by districts. Zones modify which jobs are produced by each district. And then the buildings usually modify the actual jobs themselves.
Mhm.
So here, should I start cheating already? I should start cheating already.
All right.
Because it's always cheating time, right? So we've added a generic industrial zone again. This was something that last week we said, I don't know if we're going to do it, and then we immediately did it. This basically splits the production between metallurgists and artisans.
But this industrial zone is already available in the open beta right now, right?
No, this is new.
No? Okay.
Before we had the pre-FTL industrial zone, which was super terrible. But let's see.
Okay. I have a vague recollection of trying this in the build we deployed on Tuesday. Of
Did we
seeing
put
the
that one up on
industrial
Tuesday?
zone. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we did include that one on Tuesday, earlier this week. So let's see. There's a bunch of questions here.
Yeah. How many pops is 5200 in Stellaris? Is it 1,000 millions? What is the scale of single pop in Stellaris? I have a lot of hours in Stellaris, but I never seen a concrete answer.
We've actually never given a concrete answer other than more than 13. Because there's an event where 13 people die and it does not destroy a pop. It's kind of something that we leave to your own headcanon because we start with around 5,200 pops on Earth. But you can end up with a tremendous number in the late game. They range somewhere between the hundreds of millions to billions. Well, no, that was the old scale. Now we've multiplied it by 100, so let's crank that back a little bit.
But so to answer the question, it's all about your headcanon because maybe your 500, 200 human pops are literally 500, 200 people in your planet just survived a catastrophe.
They're
or
very, very effective at what they do, though.
Exactly. Or maybe it's 5 billion
3.2
people.
million hamsters.
Yep. Then let's see other questions from the chat. Any chance of getting extra building slots in the government zone? 6 rather than 3 for all the special buildings and to make the zone feel more like a capital zone.
So one of the things that we did do is we have the urban zone now, and the urban zone can accept pretty much any building. This is in case you wish to have more just sort of generic things like the Autochthon Monument and things like that. We intentionally want buildings to be very important to you, so we didn't want to give too many freebies. Let's see, what else? The management tab includes things like the planetary features, terraforming, planetary ascension will go over here. Automation will be moving entirely over to here. And there's going to be a button here to toggle it on and off, maybe one over here. Pop groups grow simultaneously in the new system. This was one of the reasons why we multiplied them by 100, because now we could have granular pop growth on multiple things simultaneously. Same with decline, and it means that we don't really need to keep track of fractional growth like we did before. Now, if you have, say, 1.35 pop growth in a month, you will grow one pop, and then you have a 35% chance of growing a second pop. In the long run, this evens out, so you don't get cheated out of any of your valuable growth. This tab is the jobs tab, that or economy now, where you can do things like fire people, and then they're sad and unemployed, and then they demote. We pushed a change.
Did you just fire 160 people? Just like donk?
I didn't fire 160 people. We just talked about
Pops.
how a person isn't a
Yeah, sorry. Yes.
top. Yeah,
Sorry,
I fired like 16 million people.
That's 60 million in your headcanon right now.
In my headcanon, it is.
Okay.
Okay, they can have their jobs back.
And you're right. Sorry, my mistake about. I just saw the portrait with 16. And
Except for that guy.
that guy.
So what happened here, is that the rulers had their pop growth happen, and new pops inherit their parent strata.
Mhm.
We have made a change that will be going out tomorrow that is not in this build yet, where demotion will be much faster. It's down to 1/4 of the previous speed, or no, 4 times the previous speed. It's 1/4 of the former time. So pops will demote down into civilian much faster. The civilian strat is a new one that we're adding in 4.0. This is for the people that are not gainfully employed in a manner that contributes directly to your military ambitions and things like that. But they are essentially what clerks were in the 3.x economic model. You have a lot of them, and they're actually good to have because they produce amenities. If you have the Autochthon monument, they produce the things that culture workers used to produce, and they are the supply of colonists for the other colonies, because since different pop groups can grow simultaneously, we no longer need to have minimum floors on pop growth. So you want them to go off into the colonies, but you also want a good stockpile of them at home. We're still tweaking exactly how many you start with, but that's why you start with 5,200 pops now on Earth instead of 28 or 32 if you were prosperous unification.
Yeah. Can I?
The armies tab, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Can I ask you? Sorry, you just said a word, and there is a question right here on Twitch. This word here.
Autochthon.
Autochthon, the magentan.
I don't actually know if that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
But it's a.
Well, the question is, how do you pronounce it?
That's how I pronounce it. I'm not sure if it's right though.
Autochthon.
So the premise of it is it's a monument to us getting into space. So it's to celebrate that first FTL space flight and all of that. I don't know who named it in the first place, but yeah.
I will pronounce it
I'm going to go look it up for
autochthon,
next week.
but I'm not a native speaker.
Yeah,
So
how do you do?
autochthon.
Autochthon? I think it's autochthon, but
Autochthon.
that's how I'm going to say it. That's how
Okay.
I do say it. Let's see. As you can see here, we have fixed ground combat because it doesn't work in the slightest. Part of the changes in 4.0 are these are pop groups. I've been kind of talking about it, but I never really explained it. They are basically, instead of having 52 individual pops that are being calculated continuously and stuff like that, we lump them all together into giant globs. Like here, there's over 1,000 workers together, and it simplifies a lot of our mechanics and it should help performance. But we haven't flipped everything over yet. Like defense armies currently are still being created by the number of pops you have on the planet, except we have no pops because we removed them all. We have pop groups. They're completely different. And yeah, that's holding.
And so there is a question about from Liberator asking the late game speed is better now. No lags that's the overall.
Not yet.
The overall goal, like
that is the goal. Right now, we still haven't done a lot of the optimizations that we're planning on doing, but we have a lot of optimizations planned. The reason why we haven't done this is because if we leave things the way they are right now, it's going to be a lot easier to fix some of the things that you guys find and have found, because you have found several things. Like if you had a single robot on your planet, everybody dies. You know. Killer robots.
Yeah, normal. Like,
can't trust.
Have you not watched The Terminator?
I have. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna go back because the open beta has been mostly vanilla stuff originally, because we wanted to test it on small things before expanding to elsewhere. But we did set up the Void Dwellers recently.
Aha. Fledolin which was first time in our chat. So hi Fledolin.
Hello, welcome.
While you were loading, I wanted to read this, and now you loaded. Maybe you already said it, but it came a bit late. How do you allocate jobs now?
It's largely the same way as it was before, where if you build the jobs, they will come. The pops will fill up the jobs. Oh, hey, this is actually important because this is one of the changes that we made this week.
Aha.
So, we're not going to be able to see it here because of reasons, but each job has a weight, and Pops will prefer to fill up the jobs of higher weight than lower weight. The elite jobs have the highest weight of all, then specialist, and then we've got our worker jobs down here that are all pretty low weight. And then things like the pop traits that you have and things like that act as modifiers on these, and nobody wants to be a clerk because we just have an arbitrary, this is a terrible job weight on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, we are actually keeping clerks, but I'll talk about that in a second. The big change that we made this week that we actually want to get some testing on is up until now, jobs always filled from highest weight to lowest weight, like dominoes. So basically, if you've got a bunch of researcher jobs open and everybody wants to be a researcher, we will fill up all 150, 300 researcher jobs before we look at the next job. This week, we have changed things, so they'll pick up the jobs more like a flooding tide rather than dominoes. So all of the jobs will fill up simultaneously, weighted towards the ones that you would prefer, but we're going to try this in order to reduce the economic death spirals that some of these things create. Because
so if I understand it correctly, right now, until now, it was everybody wants to be a CEO, and they all become CEO, and there is nobody below them. And then once all the CEO spots are taken,
then
you start to get the middle
accept.
manager, and then the project manager, and the team. Instead, now it's more organic.
Everybody wants to be a politician because that is an elite job.
Yeah.
Then in the specialists, if say physicists were the highest weight job, everybody would want to be a physicist.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody would want to be a biologist. Then everybody would want to be an engineer. And so on down the chain until every job was filled and you had no administrators. I still have no administrators. Fascinating. That's because I haven't unpaused yet.
All right. But now it should be
now,
more organic.
in theory, I'm not going to be able to show it off well here, but administrators. I don't know why they're not filling the administrator jobs. They'd rather be clerks than administrators. Very sad. They'd rather be unemployed than administrators. Okay, that's better. Oh no. Look, we found something interesting. Okay. Administrators, I bet. Administrators are one of the new jobs that we created. So, we start you off with these basic factories, basic offices, and food processing. Oh, yeah, I'm like, well, no, that's not a basic thing. We're supposed to have a basic research lab here, except that we're void dwellers, so we desperately need food because,
We're void
people
dwellers.
like to eat. And they don't have an agriculture district, they instead have the research district. Let's see. So these give not very good jobs. They get administrators, laborers, things like that, instead of the post-FTL jobs that will replace them, like metallurgists and artisans, for example. That we get from the foundry zone gives metallurgists. Metallurgists are way better than laborers. Artisans are way better than laborers also, but laborers produce both consumer goods and alloys, just not many of them. There was something that I said I was going to talk about and then I didn't.
Void dwellers working is one of the
void dwellers. Yeah. So, one of the new things in this build is that void dwellers actually work now. Amenities and things. So, another thing that is changing in this build is there's a lot freer placement of buildings, and many buildings produce jobs. So, like, before, one of the problems was that our hollow theaters. Okay, that's not in this one yet. But where is it? Many of the buildings will now carry 150 jobs on them. So instead of just being, oh no, they can't see tooltips behind the camera. Okay, that's
behind the camera. Okay.
Okay, when it's down here.
Yeah, when we're called. Oh well, maybe you can just like do this for a second. So
I can make us go away because you don't want to see me anyway. You want to see cool tooltips.
So there are questions about replacing a zone. Like if you build a factory zone, can you replace it with an artisan zone?
Yes. So let's see. Here I've got my foundry zone. And we go, oh no, I don't actually need alloys because I don't know why.
I have too many alloys.
I have too many alloys. I can come over here and replace it with a Unity zone or whatever. You can freely destroy zones right now, but only if they have no buildings in them. My intention is that we will eventually want to change this. So if there are buildings that are valid for both zones, those will be okay, and it'll just destroy anything that doesn't fit in the new one. Because the urban zone can hold all of the basic urban buildings, or actually all of the buildings. Like it will be able to hold the let's see, that's something that goes in here. Go away. I should get off the void dwellers because apparently they may not actually have some of the buildings and stuff. This is not, yeah. We have actually.
They're working, but not completely.
There are some things that will be in tomorrow's build that may or may not be in today's build.
I'll put us back.
Because this one was lit. So they can see us.
Yes,
They don't want
of
to see
course.
us. They want to see the beauty of the game.
Yep. Meanwhile,
Okay.
we're here. Sorry, I wanted to read a question, but moving forward.
So let's replace this. So I'll be able to, build a bunch of different things into this urban zone, including a bunch of the default production type buildings. And this is intended for you to be able to just sort of spot, I need some amenities. And I've already built the luxury residences, which is the huge housing and amenities building. The Hollow Theaters will be giving entertainers as well as the bonus to entertainers. Because once again, we don't want you to have an amenity zone on every single planet. That's silly.
So there are planets where there is no fun allowed, literally.
No fun allowed. No, you need some fun, otherwise.
Like you need to
your
fly.
stability
You need to
drops.
fly all the way to another system and just to go to the movie theater and see a performance. But sure, there was a question about the what would you like players to test? We're asking. Let's see if I can find it. But we're asking about trying the UNE and the Commonwealth of Man.
So
There you go. It was the last question.
the UNE and Commonwealth of Man are just kind of like the default vanilla empires that we're pretty sure will mostly work, because of the just sort of breadth of things that we have updated so far. The weirder the civics and origins you pick, the less likely it is to work. As the open beta goes on, more and more of these will be at least partially working. Like you can probably play a habitat build tomorrow. There may be some weird stuff like, oh, hey, I can't build any buildings in this zone or something like that. And, that's okay. The main things that I'm currently interested in right now personally are the biggest problems that you have and what's causing your economic death spirals, because it's nowhere near ready yet, and it's not done yet.
Okay, so we're seeing still a lot of economic death spirals.
I mean, maybe it's all perfect now.
Okay.
We can see what Grunts did.
I have a question.
Oh no, rising unemployment on Earth.
Oh no.
A few criminals are of no concern.
I have a question, a personal question, if you don't mind. Did we fix the AI with this build, or are they still going into the economic death spiral?
No, the AI is not in yet. I expect that we'll have the basic AI sometime next week. I think.
Because I'm really enjoying this fact that the moment I approach somebody, they just go, "Hey, can we be your vassal?" Like, of course you can.
Oh, I think we may have fixed the Fallen Empires all just melting.
Okay.
I was told that was getting fixed today. I don't know if it's in this build yet. We can find out. I have patch notes. I can actually take a look to see what we have actually fixed in this one.
I also have them here.
Okay. Let's see. Habitats are now semi-functional in the open beta. That's very confident, isn't it? Habitats now derive their maximum mining generator and science district development based on the resources in the system. Orbital deposits grant 1 plus half their base value rounded down maximum district development. This is all subject to change and balance. And for all I know, Alfred may have changed half of it already since I wrote that. Habitat orbitals are now automatically constructed for free when a new district is completed on the central habitat complex if one can be built. habitat orbitals are now megastructures instead of dummy fleets, preventing them from being attacked, and more amusingly, preventing them from trying to flee. Because this is one of the long-standing amusing bugs about habitats, that whenever a hostile would come into system, they would try to run away. And every once in a while, they would succeed, which was also hilarious.
Yeah.
The orbitals are now mostly cosmetic. But it's so much easier to play them. I'm gonna go show that because this is one of the best.
I like the confidence of rebooting game after last week's experience.
Oh yeah, this is how we crashed, isn't it?
Yeah. How intentional is the AI with its decision making? Where I can see resources on how the AI operates in Stellaris. What's the logic behind the AI decision? That's a very broad question.
Okay, so right now the AI is not very good at doing the economy because that's coming in next week. But generally the AI has a bunch of budgets that it's trying to hit and sort of plans. It makes plans and then it tries to figure out how to actually get the resources it needs to complete those plans. So it'll be like, I want to colonize something because I found a thing I want to colonize. And then it will, if I remember correctly, it will flag itself as I have a colonization target, and then it will increase its budget that it requires for colony shifts and so on. And then it will try to just kind of build things. It is mostly reactive to what's going on at the moment. So anytime there's a decision, it'll be like, what's the best choice to make right now? And a lot of it is personality based, where different combinations of civics and origins and stuff will give an AI personality, which a lot of times you'll see it'll be like, I'm a hegemonic imperialist and stuff like that. And those will alter the weights of the different decisions that it can make. Which technology am I going to take? Look at what's here in front of me and be like, well, as a hegemonic imperialist, I want this one. Let's see.
So I hope we answered the question from Venix Fjord.
The funniest part is when Hive Mind can't expand anymore. They completely flip out and their aggression goes off the scale.
Okay. Back to showing habitats.
Okay. Yeah, the habitat thing that I actually wanted to show is that now. Okay, one of the most annoying things about habitat. You like my planet name?
Yes.
Okay. Was that in order to build out your habitat, you needed to build all of the orbitals, and you had to do that essentially manually. You had to be like, oh, where is that thing? It's over here, and I'm going to build it here. And sometimes finding that last minor orbital was complicated. Now it is real tough. If I want, say, a astro mining bay, I click a button and I wait. Or I cheat and then I don't wait. Okay, and now an orbital has been created somewhere. I'm going to build a lot of them because that way we will notice there are many more of them in the system around different things. They also work as mining stations, so they will collect the thing that they are above. Let's see. Yes, it totally felt like they were hiding on purpose. Like there would always be one tucked away in between two other moons or something like that. It was terrifying. The beta patch is dropping tomorrow. Let's see.
Yeah, I believe we don't have a specific time yet, but sometimes tomorrow during our office hours.
Sometime tomorrow. Yeah. We also have 2 dev diaries next week for no reason.
Oh.
I mean, I mentioned that in today's mini dev diary.
Yeah. So for no reason at all, next week we have 2 dev diaries. Okay. We'll leave you guys with this. There is no reason at all. Let's see.
Let's see.
Can habitats have
some sort of equivalent to orbital rings so they don't just suck at minerals? You can build an arc furnace and then you can get 1 million minerals. Especially now that their development here is based on the minerals and system. I haven't actually checked exactly how many they can end up with, but it's probably a large number.
So the answer is many.
Likely.
Okay. Can you define many in pops?
No.
Okay. How will domestic policy work with new population? I believe that Gen Zero asked this question a couple of times already.
What is it?
Domestic policy, how does it work with the new population? Right there. It's the last question here.
Is that like domestic servitude? I'm uncertain actually right now. I can't check with them because they're very nice.
They're very nice.
Yeah, the UNE. I base this off the UNE, and
Oh yeah, so
they can't use most of the policies. Like, if you're asking how do like the uncapped jobs and things like that work, that's still largely the same.
Is the planetary deficit causing trade gain instead of loss fixed in this version?
I'm not sure actually. So it's not actually always causing trade gain. It's your surplus is counting as positive. I don't think it's been fixed because we considered it a fairly low priority to getting more of the zone and core economic loop working.
Mhm.
So let's see, how much do I got? Nope, I'm generating negative. I'm consuming negative 14.62 trade from my massive surplus here of planetary production. My planetary deficit of how do I have a planetary deficit of food? Oh, because most of my food is being generated by just being me. Because the empires produce a base number of resources, and some of that is being eaten. Will factions be in this update? No, not yet. So Unity will still be somewhat hard to come by. We also don't have the trade conversions working yet, which is one of the reasons why we're not super stressed out about getting the surplus thing working, because at least this is giving you some trade outside of trade jobs.
Yep. How's the immigration? Do we need civilization to have early colony immigration?
You will want, so you can colonize normally, and they will very slowly build their way up. I think they build around 3 pops per month in the new when you're colonizing.
Ready.
Oh hey, I'm not paused.
Or they don't, and then the colony disappears, and then they show up at you and say, "Steven, what's happening?"
That did happen to you, didn't it?
Yeah.
So let's show colonization. Let me speed this up. But if you have a bunch of civilians around, your colonization will actually go faster because the pops will migrate over there to take those 100 colonist jobs.
I believe in one of the dev diaries you were talking about the new flow of colonization, but I don't think we've shown this on stream on how it got better.
Yeah, well, I'll show it here.
Yeah.
That's why I'm checking out this.
Yeah, exactly.
With my void dwellers who are going to absolutely hate it here.
What? Okay.
No. Never. I guess I did get max resources. I totally could have paid
Sorry?
off.
I was reading the question, getting ready for the next one to ask you. While we're building the starbase, what's the purpose of energy credits now with the change in economy?
System survey concluded.
They're still used for all of the various things. Like the only things that it's not used for is the galactic market for the most part. So the curators still want energy. Your ship upkeep and things like that are still energy. Hey, look, megastructures, ships, stations, starbases, buildings, districts, all of that is still consuming energy. Yes, some of it is now being used by trade. We have logistic upkeep is in trade, and local planetary deficits will eventually be in trade, except for that whole it's actually paying us part. Okay, so here is Barnard Star, a beautiful world here. And my people hate it here because we are void dwellers and this is a tomb world. So this is basically, I mean, yeah, that's some great habitability there. So we will select them and be like, hey, let's make this.
Can we make it at least a nice word? Like, hey, we know it's not great, but at least it's like...
No, this is just a terrible world. But, and we're going to get that low habitability warning, and it will be like, Barnard Star. Why? And We have built a colony ship because I forgot that I had instant build still turned on.
Yep.
And here it comes. And let's slow things down a little bit because I actually want to watch stuff happening here.
A new world of opportunities
A new
awaits.
world of opportunities awaits. We are colonizing the planet. So, every month it will create some humans here with no category. They actually probably should be workers. So there's a fun bug. When we hit 100 colonists, the colony will become an actual colony. The pops from Earth.back will actually be, or would be migrating here, except they don't want to because it's, you know, a tomb world.
What? Okay.
Ooh, an event order's been restored. Nice. See, I told you we didn't need to give them anything. So now you all get to watch as we torture, or yeah, helps if I unpause. Any more questions while?
There is a question about how is Deco21 is asking how is mercantile and marketplace of ideas going to work with trade becoming a resource? Unity from trade feels great.
You'll have it once we have the trade conversions working again. It's on our task list for sometime in the next couple of weeks. Basically, the plan is that your see, these are some people that came over or grew here. I have my trade income, and then I pay my trade logistics upkeep, and then the net will get changed by your trade conversion policy into stored trade or the things that trade used to become, like energy, unity, whatever.
Yeah.
How are plus building slots modifiers going to change in the near future? They're going away. Since whenever you build a zone, you immediately get 3 building slots. They don't make sense under this model. We will replace them with other benefits where necessary, or like functional architecture has to do something. Okay, a new world has been colonized. So now I have my new terrible place, which will have terrible pop growth and sad people. 10% habitability, yeah. This is it. At least it's size 24.
Well,
So here we can, do things. We can build stuff. We don't really have to yet because we haven't filled up our jobs, and no one is going to come here because
I wonder why.
Because it's terrible. So they will have to grow their own pops, and that will be pretty slow because they're on a tomb world and they're void dwellers, and everything is sadness here.
I mean,
I think this was the worst possible example.
Should we look for another planet?
It's not going to help. We're void dwellers.
Okay.
Like it's we can build one, maybe. Yes, we can. Here, let's build something over Y. Haha! That was easy. Once again, I forgot that I'm instant building, but that is good because now I don't need to.
Christopher points out it's a tomb, but at least it's a spacious tomb.
That's true. It's it's very nice. So here we have our habitat complex.
Meanwhile,
Oh no!
Oh, what?
Situation log has been updated.
We should probably do something about that.
So it's a tomb, and we also find a nuclear
Colony
bomb in it.
establishment has
Yay.
begun.
Wow.
Okay, so here once again we will do stuff, and hey, look, this one's going up much faster, possibly because it is not a radioactive hellhole.
There were a couple of questions. So let's see.
We like questions.
Yeah. There was a question. There you go. Found it. I think that we were talking about this right now, though. Remove the trade capacity into infinite like unity, since it's not a physical resource, but more of a concept.
The trade actually is somewhat a physical resource in this, in our view, a little bit, because they are literally stockpiled trade goods at that point, which you are literally trading for other things. It also represents your logistical capacity, which is a little bit awkward, but
but maybe it was intended a Unity. It's not a physical.
I mean,
good.
Unity is very much not a actual physical concept.
So how
But
do
then again, neither is influence, and we do cap that.
Yeah.
Oh hey, I have cheated, and all my caps are horrible. How's new planetary system with ring worlds and EQs? We haven't done EQs yet. Ring worlds are close, but not quite done yet. Okay, so what was I doing here? I think I was just looking at the politicians, civilians. Okay, we've got some civilians here. Let's build something. Some amenity zones, and let's see, some hollow theaters.
Okay, this is not the tomb board. For a second, I thought you were building an amenity zone in a tomb board. I'm like, okay, that's daring.
That would be mean.
That's like,
Okay, so
you know, when you go to a summer festival and it's in the middle of nowhere, there are no facilities around. You're like, why am I here?
we got the dancing thing, and okay, so here I can actually show the thing I was talking about before. All of our jobs here are filling up simultaneously, because we don't have enough pops to actually fill them all. So they will all gradually fill, and I've got a dancing plague on why. It's party time.
Okay.
Just they're doomed.
They decided to have their own summer festival over there.
Oh,
No, it's already over.
yeah, that was fast.
Federation Space Force is asking trade acting more like money in real life. But I don't think that that's necessarily the case, right? We are talking about a broader concept of trade.
It is intended to not just be money. Like I said before, the Caravaneers still want cold hard energy credits, but a lot. It is the galactic market currency. So one of the reasons we did this is because, well, one, we wanted to have logistics be a thing. Second, we wanted Gestalts to be able to use the resource reasonably, because they are trading. They should have a concept of trade with other empires and things like that. And they are somewhere in between consumer goods and energy.
The Naturals Gamer is asking if the amenity production is working as intended in the beta.
Not before. Before it was super terrible. And we acknowledge that. This is one of the reasons why we allow you to do things like build the buildings and stuff like that in the urban zones now. And these will also be providing jobs. I think this actually is providing jobs. It's just not listing it correctly.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of tooltip stuff that we still need to do.
So that's why you were seeing some, let's call it discrepancy to how things used to work in the past. The Naturals Gamer.
Yes, there.
Yeah.
The goal is to cut most of the population load out of the calculations. That is exactly one of the major goals. Because people keep telling me that Stellaris in the late game is kind of slow, and they're right. So we were like, okay, if we're going to do anything with this, we're going to fix that, or at least try to. And then while I was there, I was like, I also want simultaneous pop growth, and I want Xenon compatibility to not destroy the universe, and I had a big want list.
So
But
basically,
I do love this, that multiple species will grow simultaneously. Speaking of which,
we're
I'm going back, and
going back
I'm
and changing
crazy.
empire.
I'm changing empires, and I said that the free peoples of the fall. I was like, Broken Shackles is totally broken. It probably still is. I haven't tested this, so you're going to figure this out with me.
Cerberus 189. We answered the question about job priority a bit earlier in the stream, so we can catch the VOD. But yeah, the prioritization of jobs has been changed in this version of the beta.
Oh no. Okay, so Broken Shackles starts with nothing.
Oh no.
Oh, that is very sad. They don't even start at the Capitol building. Okay, well, I'm sure everything will be fine.
Or they're pointing out it's probably a bug.
Oh, I've got 600 scavengers.
What?
Scavengers.
Okay.
Good for them. Okay, so let's we're running out of food because we have no food, and we have multiple cities. Okay, yeah, that's better. Now we have a reassembled ship shelter again. Okay, we have no food, and are dying. This is tragic. And what are we out of? We have a shortage of unity. Oh, this is great. We immediately fell into infighting as soon as we landed on this planet. But free at last. Okay, I don't want to deal with any of this right now, so I'm gonna do the terrible auto stuff that.
Yeah.
I would desperately like to upgrade my agriculture district. Oh, but the thing that I actually wanted to show everyone here is, hey, look, we've got colonists again. Look, we have a bunch of pops, and all of their numbers are going up at the same time, and this is one of my favorite things about the new pop system. Because multi-species planets work, and it's not that these guys that are, you know, underrepresented in my empire are taking over everything. It's everybody's growing together and getting in each other's way. And it's a big, beautiful thing, and xenocompatibility might be essential for multi-species empires.
Yeah. Did we already talk about species modification on stream? Is that live, or do we have a timeline of where that's going to come?
I showed it last week.
Yeah.
Because
we showed
species
that.
modification, we showed the stuff where basically you can go like that, and okay, I'm ruining this run too.
Let's ruin everything.
Hi.
Hello.
Always making me cheat. So the species modification is now in a much better UI. And we can be like, hey, you're now docile. And then we apply it. It offers to bring the genetic modification special project right away instead of having to click a million times. But we don't care because we're going to set you as the default. And now we're going to set your species rights to subspecies integration, integrate into default. And now, every couple of months, some of them will turn into the other one.
And we broke something in the process.
We're out of food, and we're out of unity, and it's just, everything is terrible. Yay, unshackled politics. And factions weren't formed because factions are broken right now. But all of those pops converted on their own.
There was a question about multi-species empire.
Yes.
Can you set different weights for different species? Asks Fledolin.
You can set their species rights to, like, you're not allowed to breed and things like that. But otherwise, they will, follow their normal growth curves based on their population and the carrying capacity of the planet.
So you cannot say, oh, I want this species to grow 0.8 and this other one 0.2.
No, they will all grow naturally. But then here you can be like, your population control. Your population controls are enabled, except that I'm not allowed to because I'm broken shackles.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's our dominant species that I randomly picked. Fantastic. There. Haha.
Does each species have their own pop growth?
Yes.
So do they grow at different
actually,
rates?
each pop group has its own pop growth. So the place where you see this most entertainingly is, I'm not going to be able to show it here because once again I have no different status because we are purely egalitarian people with a broken world. But the UN, when I was on the UNE, you saw that I had some unemployed elites, things like that. That's because the elites had pop growth within their strata. There weren't enough jobs for them, so the kids were upset because they couldn't get jobs that were fitting their station. And then eventually they'll demote down to specialist, from specialist down to worker, worker down to civilian.
Okay.
Because they, join their parents' social class.
And then how is the different, what's the name? Reproduction, pop growth rate calculated? Is there like dark coefficient or?
Every pop group will calculate its own growth rate, following the logistic curves. They do combine their entire species together for calculating some of this stuff out, and then split it across the different pops or pop groups of that species.
Yeah.
Pop assembly works exactly the way it did before. It will create pops basically continuously. I can hop over and, I'm really tempting fate here, exiting and coming in constantly, creating new empires.
We're showing you that now the build is more stable.
Look, it's more stable than last week because we didn't crash yet. Let's see, where are the luck and mechanics? Because that's the easiest place to show that. Mechanics should be fine in this build because having a robot will no longer kill your entire empire. Okay, so this is probably the easiest place to show this. We have our robot workers and our unemployed workers and stuff like that, and we have our lock. And if we win, so there are now 4 more lock and 2 more robots. Every month we're basically building 2 robots because we have 2 pop assembly. And we're growing a miscellaneous number of lock.
Mhm.
Let's see.
So multiple species on a planet is a much bigger growth than a single one?
Not necessarily, because they will be competing for carrying capacity and things like that. And they'll also have a smaller core pop unit, so they'll be on a different point in the logistic curve. This is one of the things that data points that I'm actually kind of tracking during the open beta of how far people, or like generally trying to figure out how far people are getting and how many pops they have. Internally, we're also running these tests. Automodding traits should work basically as they are right now. We have, due to differences in how jobs and pops work, pops are no longer as directly tied to the jobs, but we can tell which pop groups are providing the workforce for the jobs, and it smears across. And the engineers have figured out a way to approximate the, who is doing what and why and how this should affect things.
All right. Let's see. Are there any other questions? We might have missed a few on the way.
I'm sure we've missed a ton
Yeah,
of
I
them,
missed
especially in
them.
that one because that's further away and I can't see it. So I'm entirely reliant on you to give me questions from that side.
I still need a button to close all the outliner tab.
Oh,
Don't we have a button?
here? Like that.
Oh, to close in
To
that way,
close
to
these?
collapse. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant the.
Or
You know what?
did you mean these? Because here you can, open this up and then you can close it together by strata. But that's not outliner, that's jobs.
Do you expect that some YouTubers will exploit these new mechanics with pops for insane min-maxing?
Absolutely. They're going to find some crazy, crazy things. And I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the various videos.
I mean, the crazy things that you guys do is like half the reason why we, update constantly.
So, yeah. Somebody came here to bother the devs for our Stellaris shirt.
Which
Well-
one? This one or the jacket?
The jacket or the shirt? Yes.
Because the jackets are only available if you're a member of the team, and there's only a couple left.
Yeah, so-
join now.
Paradox. Variety.com/career.
The shirts are available on our merch.
Yeah, on the merch store on our website. You can go there. There is a really sweet hoodie with Setan on it. 100% recommend. Said the marketing guy. Let's see.
Okay, so let's see. What should I show next? Oh, yeah, I had patch notes.
Yeah, we had patch notes.
Okay, let's see. Habitat orbitals now collect the resources from the deposits that they were built over. I mentioned that. Habitat orbitals now have the same upkeep as mining and research stations since they, do that. Building a district on habitats automatically spawns an orbital. Habitat districts now take longer to build and cost alloys to build because you no longer have to do the crazy, hunt and pick and build the megastructure separately. There's a bunch of stuff about max districts per planet and star per system and capital tier. Converting MSI's ruined warship into a habitat immediately colonizes it. So payback should be semi-functional as well. Void Dweller Empires get bonus jobs from habitat districts. This does not currently include scaling jobs from jobs, but should in the future. Voidborn AP and Void Dweller Origins now give Habitat District cost reductions because, we made them cost more. Void Dwellers get civilians on game start. And added the hydroponics zone for habitats.
Mhm.
Building and zone changes, we replaced the early industrial zone with an urban zone because it's not terrible. It's not good, but it's not bad. Actually, that one's not bad at all. There's nothing bad about that. Default starting
the
planet.
one that we had before was really bad.
The one that before, it literally said it's not good. Or actually, that was the factory, wasn't it? So,
I think it was the factory that said it's not good. Yeah.
it's not good. Because we tried to be honest about this, and, it's like, what does this do? Well, you get alloys. This one, you get alloys and consumer goods. This one, you get research. This one, megacities. Our intent in the future is actually for urban zones to probably increase civilian capacity. Right now, civilians are on cap job. We're still debating whether we want to go with that model or if they should have a limit. The thing I like about having a limit on civilians is that it encourages you to build city districts, which, you're going to be doing anyway. But we can make your empire capital have a massive bonus to it, which means that if someone conquers your capital in the beginning of the game, they now have a bunch of very, very angry dissidents. And I really like that plan. But we'll see.
I just want to say that I agree with Kiorion that Clerks is a good movie.
Hmm?
That's my contribution to this stream. Thank you very much, everybody. There was a question about pop growth, but from Tappi. So if I understand the new pop growth correctly, every group gets space growth and one group gets space plus bonuses. And
No.
xenocompatibility essentially gives the bonuses to everyone at the same time. I think that the second part is...
No, we don't have base growth anymore. Wherever you are on the logistic curve, that's what you get. So if you have three pops on a planet, they're going to grow atrociously slowly. And in fact, most months they won't grow. We do keep that. You have a chance of gaining a pop if you have that fractional thing. I talked about that a little earlier. But we no longer go you get three free pop growth every month, period. So everybody is on. It's a survival of the fittest, I guess. You get the pop growth that you deserve, or something.
So,
Which is none on that poor Tomb World.
will some buildings be one per zone instead of one per planet?
It's possible. The automation buildings are ones that are most likely to turn into that, although they might actually be one per... They might actually be the generator automation building, the mining automation building, the agriculture automation building, something like that. Because the intention there is that you'll be able to automate some of this. So, instead of having 360 farmers in my farming thing, maybe half of it is automated. So I only have 180 jobs here. That will, in turn, free up some pops to turn into civilians to migrate to other planets and so on. But it might not be as good as having your actual people doing it. So there's a lot of interesting things we can do with the zones and the buildings. And I'm looking forward to what we come up with over time.
Yes. I'm also seeing that there are a lot of questions about slavery. It seems to be something that chat really cares about today.
Okay, what kind of questions?
How is the slavery coming along? Is there a plan for single faction empires?
Single faction empires?
Uh,
I mean, you can, if you mean... Okay, so
I don't know. That's a question.
Not much actually changes with slavery in this model because the core economic model is actually still relatively the same as it was before. If you have chattel slavery, then you'll have these modifiers on your pops. In fact, here I think, my poor robots are in servitude, but that's okay because they're not really people. They're just robots.
In case any AI is listening to us right now, I want to say that I am dissociate strongly from what my colleague here just said. And I praise our AI overlord. Anyway, and then there was a question, but I think you already answered this from Tappi. Will civilian slaves function the same as normal civilians?
Sorry, what?
Slave civilians function the same way as normal civilians?
Uncertain at this point. It actually currently slaves demote down to unemployed slaves, but do not demote all the way down to civilian.
Okay.
Because you need to not be a slave in order to do that.
There was Chrome Viper. Oh, okay.
Okay, what are those automation buildings? What it's supposed to do? Some kind of job efficiency, earlier robot implementation. Basically, in not full robots, but just replacing assembly lines with like automated stuff. So it requires less workforce to produce the things on that in that district.
All right. And then let's see if there is any other final question. The patch notes will go live tomorrow morning, early afternoon, I imagine. So you're going to get...
Because I still have a lot of them.
Yeah, there is a lot. Like,
There's so many.
pages and pages of patch notes.
Should I just go through the super highlights?
Go through the super highlights. I'll gather some
Okay.
final questions
Yeah,
and then wrap it up.
Anglers have a unique zone on wet worlds. Alloy foundries now provide metallurgist jobs, no longer require industry or foundry zones. There's a lot of blank building now provides blank job and no longer requires a blank zone. Because basically one of the things that people were saying constantly was that they wanted to be able to have more diverse planets and things like that and self-supporting ones. Lots of rebalancing on jobs. New look for district. Yeah. Oh yeah, fancy. Look at my fancy UI. They told me I couldn't do it. I did it anyway.
Sorry, what couldn't you do it?
They were skeptical that we'd be able to actually finish this the top part of this UI for this week.
And you made it.
And I did it anyway.
That will show them.
Yeah.
All right.
I've had our tech lead update these branches like half a dozen times this week, and it's starting to affect him.
Yeah. To answer Elaine, the Lady of Chaos, and everybody that's joining us, and maybe it's not completely up to speed with Stellaris. Yes, we announced a 4.0 announcement. We announced a 4.0 version of Stellaris. I believe that was announced on January 16th.
It was definitely at the beginning of the year. It was in the first dev diary this
Exactly.
year.
So you can go back on our forums. All the dev diaries are clearly listed. You can go and check everything we've been talking about 4.0 so far.
I have like 5 or 6 dev diaries talking about the changes that are coming in 4.0, and then a few about the open beta. The open beta was very, very rough when we first released it, as Jeff tells you on the opening splash screen.
Yep.
But it's come some way so far. It is nowhere near done yet, but we look forward to getting more and more feedback from everybody and seeing what you have to say, because you've been making it a lot better.
And then, yeah, I will say that right now we don't have too many questions popping up. I say that I see some questions from our console players, and I want to say that we hear you guys. As soon as we have updates, of course, we'll let you know. We read you and we hear you. Because there were several that popped up during the stream. Just so that they don't feel that we're just willingly ignoring them. We love you too. And as soon as we have updates, we'll share them with you. Right now, we are hard at work on console as well. Then I will just say that this is it for this stream. Tomorrow, there is a new beta.
Open beta update tomorrow. Can't say exactly when, but
sometime
tomorrow. After it's been tested, unlike this build.
Yes. Actually, it went really well to be an untested build.
This one's pretty good. If it's going to be at least this stable, I'm pretty happy.
And,
and we're going to continue having these streams every week because I have lots of.
I just realized that we should have done this for the final segment.
Oh, because I've been paused forever. Yeah.
And then
I'm good at this.
The final takeaway that people should have from this stream. So the takeaways are new beta update tomorrow, sometimes 99.3, and that next week, for some reason.
For no reason, we have 2 dev diaries. In fact, actually, I guess it's going to be 4 because there'll be 2 dev diaries and 2 patch notes for the open beta.
Okay, so it looks like there's going to be a lot to talk about during the stream next week. Because, holy cow, 4 dev diaries. Like, 2 dev diaries. And
why did I do this?
I also want to say, guys, when you think like, oh, the dev diaries, like, clearly it's not the game director writing all of them, right?
No, I read all of them. Almost.
All of them.
Actually, Alfred writes a couple of them sometimes.
But then we clearly mark it out. Hey, this section has been, like, or this dev diary has been written by. So
he's writing one of them next week.
Oh,
no, not you.
Okay, no, you're like, wait, I'm writing.
You're writing it now.
Oh, I'm writing a dev diary, guys.
Okay.
But thank you everybody for joining us. It was a great
Thank you,
pleasure,
everyone.
Stephen.
Yeah, it's been fun.
And
Keep the questions coming. Keep hitting the open beta, and let me know what you think.
Alpha Strike is writing at the dev diary right now.
Oh, sweet. That means I don't have to write that one.
All right. I'll see you all next week.
Thank you, everyone.